Chief, would you describe these photos, please?
Well, these are some boards of some incidents and some issues that have come to our attention in recent weeks. This here is typical of what you would find in a heroin house. In this photograph, you can see the loaded guns and some cash, a syringe, a cooking spoon, a scale, a board and blades for portioning up the heroin, a tourniquet to raise veins for people to shoot up, some toilet paper to stop the bleeding from the injection site. And that's typical stuff that you would see in a heroin house. And
this was found in Boardman, not New York City in the Bronx.
A few weeks ago. Mm-hmm.
Okay, in Boardman.
And then we can move down. This is an example here. This occurred in early May. There's a motorcycle gang in Youngstown that had opened up a dope house here in Boardman on Arlene, and had been bringing in shipments of about, I believe, 300 pounds at a time of marijuana and selling it out of that house. And so when we raided the house, we ended up seizing about $20,000 in cash out of there. Again, that was in one of our neighborhoods.
What else is on that table?
We have cell phones and cash, bags. That's, yeah, marijuana, bags of marijuana. We have a few of our recent individuals. This gentleman here was involved in a shooting on Mill Creek Boulevard, I believe it was last summer, in a bad drug deal, and we ended up seizing about $10,000 out of that house and a smaller quantity of drugs.
What did this guy do?
This gentleman here was one of the people that was involved last summer in the abduction of a real estate agent. And in the days that followed that case here in Boardman, he basically abducted and held a realtor hostage. And then he escaped. And then a few days later, he abducted another real estate agent in the city of Youngstown and murdered her. And that case was solved because of the investigation of our detective, Glenn Riddle, trying to capture him for the kidnapping and abduction of the real estate agent in Boardman. As we move down,
what are these?
This is typical of some of the weaponry that we're finding in the drug houses that we've had open up. It's that's a 7.62 by 39 caliber Russian assault rifle with a 30-round magazine. There's ammunition that it shoots, a high-capacity 9mm pistol, and the ammunition it shoots, and that stuff is typical that we would find. It's a semi-automatic rifle, but it's typical of what we find in the houses that we've been raiding. If you notice, when we do the drug raids, the officers put on massive, very heavy bulletproof vests, much heavier than the ones that we would wear under our shirts. And the reason is the typical vest that we wear will not stop penetration from this type of armament. So when they know that when they're going in and they're likely to find that type of stuff, that's why they wear that massive bulletproof vest. So that will stop this type of weaponry. Again, another example down here of a assault rifle capable of a 30-round magazine, and again, that would penetrate the average vest that we wear, and that's why in these drug houses that heavy type of protective armor or cover is necessary.
Is that the gentleman from the Brown's drugstore?
This gentleman here, I talked to you about him earlier. He abducted a lady in an aggravated robbery from a drugstore here locally in Boardman. He then, after a series of crimes in town here, he fled to South Carolina, and with the assistance of the United States Marshal Service, he was captured and brought back from South Carolina.
So he's now arrested with robbery, kidnapping,
and auto theft.
Yeah, he took in Boardman.
Correct. Yes, okay. And that was not too long ago that he did that. And as we move down, you can see different examples. Another drug raid at a dope house yields this type of material. There's a scale. We have some marijuana. We have some pharmaceuticals also that were packaged for resale. And again, a semi-automatic pistol that was recovered. Down below it, we see a combination of marijuana, a scale, heroin that had been seized in a drug raid, again by our officers in a neighborhood in Boardman. In recent years, probably the most recent 2 and 3 years, We're not seeing as much cocaine. That's what's portrayed here is cocaine packaged for sale. We're seeing much more heroin than cocaine, but periodically we still do run across cocaine, but it's by and large very much heroin oriented right now. Below that you see a picture of an indoor grow. We have a lot of residents in Boardman. They will actually set up like a miniature farm in the basement and grow marijuana, and it's very profitable. And
greenhouse, like?
Actually, no. It's done with artificial lights and kind of hidden from the police. But we find a substantial number of marijuana grows right here in our community, and of course you can see then the money that we seize along with it. And we'll move on down. This is the proceeds of yet another heroin drug house that we raided. Each of these little packets contains a dose of heroin, and this is what people typically have to come up with $100 a day, $50 a day to support their heroin habit. Every day or twice a day they have to go someplace and purchase one of these little packets and inject it.
And these are in Boardman?
These are all drug houses that were raided here in Boardman recently. These are pictures, most of these are within the last few months.
Chief, you said that now we're doing, when you started it was about, lucky if in the first 20 years you raided 20 houses for dope. Now it's about one a week you're finding this, and you could do more if you wanted to.
Well, it's not a question of want. We want to. We just need the manpower to do it, right?
So, does it make you angry?
Yes. It ticks me off. Yeah. Again, up on top here is an example of what you find in a heroin house. A syringe ready for injection, money, a spoon to cook the heroin in, and packaging is frequently found. We find a lot of paraphernalia, packaging materials. And actually, in the last levy attempt, we passed out flyers to promote the levy, and a heroin house was raided a few months ago, and actually our police levy materials had actually been cut into small portions and used to package heroin for resale, with pictures of our police cars and our officers comprising the packaging for that heroin.
You think we can make an impact and get rid of some of the people that do this thing?
Guarantee.